Hello everyone, welcome to another video. What I'm going to be doing on this video is going to be replacing the steering rack on a Mini 1 2002. So the steering rack has got quite a bit of play in because it's just failed the MOT. So we've got a replacement reconditioned rack, new track rod ends, and I've also had to change a ball joint on the bottom as well, which I haven't filmed because it's a fairly simple job. So I'm going to go for the steering rack today. Okay, so obviously jack the cab on axle stands, remove the wheel. Okay, I've also popped the drive shaft out on this side because I've got to replace the ball joint, but also the inner gate was split as well. So normally you wouldn't need to do that. I've also already disconnected the track rod, which is just the one nut at the top here, which is a 17mm. You then got to just slacken off the nut by here, which is 24mm. Slacken that off so you can unwind the track rod. Okay, as I'm taking the whole rack out, I don't really need to take the track rods off, but because I'm putting a new rack in with new track rods, I need to know how much to put the track rods on. So as you unwind the track rod, count how many times, and it'll give you an idea then of how to reset it when you put it back together, and then get your track in it afterwards. Okay, so as I've already removed the wheel, I've already slackened off the track rod here. So the next thing is I'm going to open the bonnet and drain out the power steering fluid. Okay, so passenger side now. There we go. Get a better view on this one. Turn the hand back, can't get my hand in. Okay, right, I can't get two hands in at the moment in the camera, so see that top net there? Got that one there. And one on the other side of it, which is there. Just open up a little bit. So you need to undo those. That'll release the bracket on the passenger side. As you can see there on the clamp, which clamps the steering rack to the subframe. So that metal shield there as well. That'll also need to be removed as well. Okay, so I'm going to take all them off, and then hopefully the rack should detach, and we'll slide it out. Okay, so I've got the pinch bolt out on the steering column. There you go, there's a pinch bolt. Okay, 13mm nut on the end. Undo that, and then you just gotta push that through. Came out quite easy. A little bit difficult to get at because you've got to get at it from the wheel arch here. Just a bit, but it's a nice ring spanner. Okay, and it's no problem at all. Okay, so what I need to do now is with it, you see the hole there? That's what it was. That will just push back now off the steering rack. Okay, again, it's a bit awkward to get at, so just got to try and get in there with two hands, so I won't be able to film it. Okay, and I'm going to remove then those two hose joins there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see those. Let's see. So managed to crack off the top steering nut. Okay, because you can't get the spanner in on the other one at the moment until that one I think is out. So I have to drain that one. Make sure you put a bucket underneath. Yeah, it does drain over the subframe in there. Bottom nut, won't have to worry about that. Let's see but what I had to do. Okay, get it from underneath. 22mm spanner. Okay, they're not done up mega tight. Okay, and the spanner then drop between the wishbone right here underneath, but get another spanner then, which just lever into the jaws of the other one, and I'll just crack it open. Okay, and then I got a 21mm socket at the end of my pry bar, which just a bit flexible enough. You get in then through here, just to twist off that final bit to get it fingered loose and get it to drain out. So I'm going to do the same thing then with the 19. But I couldn't quite get the 19 on there because the pipe there is slightly in the way. So I'm going to let this one drain out, take the pipe off and out of the way. I should be able to get the 19mm one then, which is the second one, and do the same thing with that one. Okay, so it is 22mm. Once you take the pipe off, there is a washer then under between the pipe and the steering rack. So make sure you grab that before it drops into the container of oil. I don't know if you can see there then. There you go. Got much better access now, the pipe's out of the way to get to that one, so I can crack that one off now as well. Okay, now the steering rack mounting bolts are E12 like star torque bolts. Okay, the driver side rear and the two passenger sides are quite easy to get at. Okay, you can get the passenger side from here and underneath for the driver side. The front one at the driver's side is awkward because the pipe's in the way. So what I've done is I put the socket, I'll get the light. Okay, put the socket on there. There you go. Okay, along with a load of extension bars all the way up, and now it's going out nice and easy. There's the others, you can just about get a breaker bar on to just to break it, and I'm going to ratchet on the passenger one at the front, but then you need a spanner then, or a very small ratchet to get at the back one, because there's not much room there. Okay, with this one now, because I've done that, it just nice and easy. So there you go, top tip. Okay, now there is the heat shield. Okay, which you need to remove as well. It's just a 10mm nut there and a 10mm bolt there, which you just need to undo, and you just got to wiggle it free. Okay, so the steering rack now is all loose. I've been able to maneuver it. Okay, so all I've got to do now, try and get that out from there. Now, I have read that you need to drop the rear of the subframe to get it out. However, the Haynes manual says you can just get it out through the wheel arch. So, I don't really want to drop the subframe if I can help it, so I am going to try and get it out through the wheel arch, which I think is going to take a bit of manoeuvring. So what I might do is just unbolt this drop link here. Okay, because I can move that out of the way then, and possibly maneuver that around and get it out and up over the top of that maybe. I suppose it'll help a bit now because I've also undone the drive shaft, because I'm going to replace, as you can see in there, the inner CV boot. So we'll see. So I'm going to just take that off there and see what happens. Okay, so this is a refurbished, reconditioned, whatever you want to call it, steering rack. Open it up. You can see what we got here. Okay, so it is four, then one of them dropped out. There you go, so we've got the steering bits there, just need to screw onto the end, and then the rack itself. So I'll go back into the car that way. So I just need to then screw those ends on, take the nuts off my old one and put the new track rods on. There we go. So, look at that. There's one mounting bit, but the other one isn't on there. So the other one must come off the steering rack. So, knowing that, might make it a bit easier to get the other one out. Okay, so anyway, that's what's in the new one. I'll then take those off, and remember, as you can see, here's a BMW. So here's a genuine rack. That's windy somewhere. So let's see now, knowing that, how I can get this out. Because I've undone drop link, and I can lever up that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back over to the passenger side, pull it back through that way, and see if I can get the other mounting off. Because if I can, I might make it a little bit easier to get it out this side. Okay, so I have managed to get the mounting off the passenger side. It's got a pry bar, get in between the two. The top half of the mountain has got pipe fitments attached to it. The pipe's not actually attached to it, but is bolted to it, so that's still attached to the car. Okay, you've got the rubber mounting, which sits around, and the other clamp goes on there. Okay, all you've got to do, get a pry bar in between these two, and just leave them apart. Pop the top off, leave it in the engine bay area. I'll go around and show you that in a minute, because as I said, the pipes bolt to it just to support. Okay, then take off the rubber mounting. There's the bottom part of it. Okay, now, as I said, you might find lots of people say you have to drop the subframe, remove the subframe. You don't. Undo the drop link, which is what I've just done. Get your pry bar again. Okay, and then with your pry bar, get underneath the anti-roll bar and just leave the anti-roll bar up. Wiggle the steering rack across to get the bracket underneath the anti-roll bar. Then rotate it so this part here goes sideways. Pry the anti-roll bar up again, and then as you can see, it all just slides on out. Okay. As I said, you will have to undo the drop link, which is a 16mm nut, and then it just all slides out. So I'm going to drop the subframe, and then I can now go back now to building up the other one. As you can see, it all comes out. Okay, so the bracket sits there. Okay, so I'll go around and show you the other side now. Okay, so I'll show you it here now. Okay, so there's the bracket. Okay, that's the bracket. So as you can see, there's just a mounting on top where the pipes go. So just rather than detach that, I mean, it looks like only a 10mm bolt by the looks of it. Okay, so but I've decided just to do that. Okay, and just prise the two apart. Okay, and then it all slides out. So there's my old one. So it is an exchange unit. So I'll need to take off the two ends of the steering rack so it fits back in the package, close to back. I can now go about put the new one together. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to end the video here. Okay, but for you, it'll be almost an instant switch over, because I'm going to build the other one up, put it into position. Refitting is obviously going to be the reversal of how you take it apart. Okay, don't forget I need to take these nuts off either end, put my new track rods on, and then fill it back up with power steering fluid, make sure there's no leaks, and then bleed the system. So you'll now see it all fitted and then ready for bleeding. Okay, so my new steering rack now then. Okay, I need to put these ends on. Okay, now inside the boot you just screw into the ends there. Now that there is a 34mm, so you need a 34mm spanner. Okay, because it's an exchange unit, I'm gonna have to send my old one back. Okay, so basically they were tight. So what I did was I clamped the rack in a vise and was able to undo it then with the spanner. So I'm going to do the same thing with these. So I can't find anything for the torque settings, so I'm just going to do them up nice and tight. So screw them in as far as we can. Okay, like so. Okay, so that's now hand tight. So I'm just going to clamp this in the vise and then just tighten it out with a spanner. Same on the other end. Put the cable ties in on the boots, and the rack then is ready to go back in the car. Just take out these bungs for the steering pipes to go in, and I can put the rack back in. So that will be the next job. Okay, so steering rack's all back on, all bolted up. Make sure when you put the bolts in, just put them in finger tight first of all so you can get it all lined up, and then just tighten them all down. Okay, basically just the opposite of taking it out. Don't forget, on the steering rack, put your lock nut on before you put on track rod. Okay, so as it is, this was 20.5, so put it in upside down for the half, another 20, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's going there. I'll take this off, put it in through the hub, tighten the lock nut up, tighten this up. Passenger side is done. Once you've done it all, you put it all back together again. Make sure there's no leaks from your power steering. Okay, then, or in fact, top it back up, bleed the system, make sure there's no leaks. So I'm going to do the other side now, and that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so everything is now back together. So what we need to do, put some fluid into the reservoir. Okay, now on here is the dipstick. Okay, there's supposed to be minimum maximum, however I can't see it, but there are 2 lines, so I'm guessing that bottom line there will be minimum, that'll be the maximum, so we'll try and get it in between the 2. I'm going to top it up with some power steering fluid, pour it in nice and slow. So try not to get any air bubbles. Okay, so that's nearly full in there. Obviously the whole system is empty, so chances are that's going to drop down. You can see now, just see a bit of foam in there. So let's try and see. Okay, so there we go, it's just above the minimum there, so I'm going to put a little bit more in, just to take it up to the max, just so once I start the bleeding system, it doesn't drop below the minimum. You can see it's built in there, so I'm going to get a cloth now and do that. So I'm going to put the lid back on and we'll start the bleeding process. Okay, so to bleed it, what we need to do, start the engine. Unfortunately, it's been a couple of days and the battery's flat, so I have to jump start this and get it going after. Right, back in a bit. Okay, so what we want to do now, once we've topped the reservoir up, okay, just start your engine and slowly turn the steering wheel to the left and to the right. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, and straighten it back up again. Shut your engine off. Check the level. Okay, so unscrew your cap, clean it off. It's like you would when you're checking your engine oil. Screw it in, take it out. So the fluid now has gone down totally below the cap. Okay, so I'm going to put some more fluid in there. This time, put a bit more in there. Not too much though, because before it was totally empty, whereas now there will be some in there and it's got its way through. So I'm just going to check the level again. Okay, so again, nothing on that. Put a bit more in. Okay, so just put it in little bits. There we go, so I'm just on the minimum there by the looks of it. A little bit more in. And what I'm going to do then, I'm just going to repeat the procedure. So just start the engine up again, turn the wheel left and right a few times, check the level again. As soon as the level then remains at the maximum, job done. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.